These birds are attacking the cell tower. Watch them as they pull the wiring out of the rectennas. Watch how they disable this death tower. I wonder if they're going to send the FBI after these birds. What do these birds know that we don't know? We've seen the footage of birds dropping dead near these death towers. Is it possible that these birds understand that these death towers are killing them? Birds are very intelligent creatures, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen the bird food maze before, where they got to figure out this puzzle to get the food. It's incredible what these birds can do. Look at them attack in unison, and they're each attacking a different rectenna, like an army swooping in. You have to see it for yourself. Here it is. You've seen the videos of the birds dropping dead around the cell towers. Now you're watching the birds attack the cell towers, ladies and gentlemen. Is there something going on? And that is the question that people should be asking themselves when they see this video. Is it normal for birds to attack cell towers like this? Now, people can argue this every which way they want to, but obviously this is a phenomenon. Like and share, ladies and gentlemen. Get people aware. You know, the birds and the bees are dropping dead. So are the trees. And here comes the birds, like some kind of Twilight Zone episode. And they're taking this cell tower apart. What is going on? What don't people understand about these cell towers? Well, if you did a little research, you'd be just like these birds, too. You'd be busy just like these birds. Ladies and gentlemen, where are the birds now? Are they coming for a cell tower near you? Could be. They're angry. The birds are angry. And if they could take out all of these death towers, they would probably do it. The birds might need your help. The bees might need your help. Your neighbors might need your help. Do you know what you're being exposed to with these death towers? It's incredible, ladies and gentlemen. The doses are so high, it's unimaginable. We've played the videos where it's worse than a microwave oven. No lie. We'll try and find that footage. We're hearing that a Canadian Bonnie and Clyde has been arrested after torching 7 death towers in 7 days. And right now, the Canadian government is holding them hostage. And obviously, this is a hostile act, ladies and gentlemen. But throughout the world right now, we're being terrorized by this New World Order and their eugenics programs. And if it isn't one thing, it's another. The most recent episode is the Wuhan supervirus. They've unleashed a bioweapon, and now everybody's pointing the finger at Dr. Fauci, who's directly linked to the lab and the exact same virus crossed with HIV and rabies. You're going to have to do your research on that one. But the hunt is on for Dr. Fauci. And it turns out he's like the Dr. Mengele of the Democratic Party. It's rather strange to see this whole plandemic unfold. And you heard the mainstream news today. They were like, oh, we took down the movie The Plandemic because it doesn't go with our script. And they were actually like applauding this on the mainstream media. They were, cheering it on. There's the video. It's worse than a microwave oven. It's off the scales. You need to get, yourself a meter that picks up these death towers. The El Cheapo from Home Depot won't do it. Shop around. You want one of these meters. Now, we found the very best one, the EMF 390. It's only $129 direct from the manufacturer through our affiliate link on our website, stfnreport.com. But you could spend 2-3 times as much and get, like a tri-field meter like this one, or the gigahertz solution, which can run you up to $1,000 with all the gear. We like the EMF 390, shop around, but find one that works for you, because it will definitely show you all of the hidden death traps, choke points that are out there. Oh, they're getting you so bad you don't even know it. And that's just a whole nother story. The evidence is there. We've talked about the white papers with the long lists of PhDs, MDs, professors, researchers, demanding a stop to the rollout of 5G. And the mainstream media comes on and they're like, oh, all these crazy people, they don't like the 5G. So, the leading minds, scientific minds of the world are now the crazy people, and they're the smart ones. You think they've got a conflict of interest? You think they might have some financial gain with the telecoms? The television and the telecoms are all basically the same beast system, and people need to understand how bad it is out there, how bad it's going to be. They're engineering the pandemic, the food crisis. There's going to be new controls put in place to verify your identification, to make sure that you're not COVID positive. They made sure that everybody got infected so they could blackmail you with this and be like, oh, you're positive. You're ours now. You see how this works? And it's just bad news. They tried to suspend the 4th of July this year. Then people started filming the hospital, started exposing the truth. And now they're letting you loose little by little, and you're like, oh baby, I can go outside. But you should take this 4th of July back. You should take this country back for yourselves and for all the children that can't defend themselves. You're morally justified to defend yourselves. This Christian side of the... This Christian homeland must survive. Right now, the Luciferians have occupied the government and the political parties and turned it into election despotism. You think you have a choice, but it's just their little group of people that get to be elected. That's not a free and fair election. These people aren't duly elected. It's a scam. And that means they're illegitimate. They're fake. They're fake politicians. Just like the television is fake, they're fake politicians. And the government is essentially fake. These are fake people. These are puppets. They represent an interest. And it's not our interest. They're rolling out the death towers. They're rolling out the fluoride, the GMOs, the vaccines. They're turning everybody's kid into a retard out there. And the dudes that used to be jocks are now on Grindr waving the rainbow flag. It's brainwashing. It's mass indoctrination. And it's like the ultimate peer pressure, because everybody knows if you don't conform to the liberal New World Order, you're not getting a job in corporate America. They got you by the balls, ladies and gentlemen. And you've all seen the George Carlin stand-up routines. You know it's a big club and you're not in it. People used to laugh at that. People used to be able to say stuff like that. And today you're being banned. Today you're being censored. It's literally a state of emergency when it comes to free speech. But that was just the first domino to drop. Now you're a prisoner at home, or you were until just recently. But they've got you exactly where they want you. And you're surrounded by these death towers. And at least the birds are doing something about it. Look at these poor little birds. Do they have, guns? Do they have cars? Do they have cell phones? Do they have, a modern public school education that can help them identify what is dangerous and what is safe? These birds know. And this is trying to tell you something. And it doesn't matter, what walk of life you're on. You've seen these death towers and you're like, this is some alien stuff right here. This is some bad news. Look at it. It's huge. These things are huge. We've got endless videos of these things, and they've become weaponized. Each one of those little boxes is supposed to be 400 watts, like a street lamp, but they're juiced up with like a megawatt power supply. These things are weaponized, and you don't even know what they're going to do to you while you sleep. And it's just, round and round we go. How many exposés do we have to do? How many exposés have been done since 9/11? How many different, Gladio B events, 9/11 events have you seen for yourselves? How many times do they got to go after your guns? How many times do they have to persecute you and crucify you before you say enough is enough? And we're supposed to be in a Christian homeland, ladies and gentlemen. And these Luciferians are now trying to kill everyone. And there really isn't much choice in the matter. Nobody wants a war. But we've been bio-nuked by this New World Order, surrounded by death towers, force-fed chlorinated chicken full of growth hormones and antibiotics and other nasty things. I mean, everything you eat is pretty much laced with poison. Everything you buy is laced with poison. That way they can label you something in a hospital. Oh, you got, this or you got that. But they never call it what it is. They don't call it death tower syndrome. They don't call it fluoride syndrome. They don't call it GMO syndrome. They call it cancer. They call it something else. But if they called these things for what they were, people would have an entirely different perception. Except they got these death towers right. Everybody's calling these things death towers. Why? It's pretty obvious. And the scientific evidence is pretty obvious. And the television keeps coming on like people are stupid, like they're going to believe the television all of a sudden. And they're like, oh, these crazy people that are concerned about their health, oh, they're burning down the death towers. People don't even get a chance to opt out. There's no vote. There's no representation, just irradiation. And this radiation penetrates you, ladies and gentlemen. And, it goes into your body and you don't have a say. It's just like the vaccines. It's just like the fluoride. I mean, they're just dosing you hardcore. And as if all of that stuff wasn't enough, as if, you didn't really need any more proof, here comes more with this bioweapon out of the Fauci lab, and you've got everybody, including the president, covering for it. They let this virus in. They wanted everyone to get infected, and it was the same thing in every New World Order country. Every citizen has been raped by this system that's supposed to serve and protect you. Do you feel like you've been served and protected, or do you feel like you've been enslaved and punished? Press 1 for 1776. Press 2 to go back to NBC. Ladies and gentlemen, and believe whatever you want to believe. But if you do your own research, you understand what's at stake here. You understand what's going on. And there's no doubt that we need a restart. We need to reboot our republic. Ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's just, report after report, the FBI planting evidence, going after political opponents. It's totally weaponized. There is no justice. The system is totally corrupt. It's not that we don't want it to work. It's just that right now it's being held hostage, just like we are. And so for this system to work, we basically have to flush it out of the things that are preventing it from working. Namely, these two political parties that have a monopoly on everything. Everything. Why is it this little group that dictates to the rest of us? Are they special or something? And so they don't even allow other people to compete. It's just like the socialist media platforms. They don't allow ideas to compete. What do you think, the spirit of the First Amendment is? It's to have ideas compete. And the best idea wins. and you get to vote on it. But they don't want that. They don't let you do that. That's how criminal this system is. And it just keeps getting worse. And it's, the same idea as tolerating, serial killers or other type of, serious criminals. If you tolerate their activity, it's just going to get worse. And so that's what everybody's doing right now. They're just tolerating this activity, and it is getting worse. More death hours, more Gladio B events, super virus, the works. What's next? Well, the chip, and not just the chip for your vaccine, but the brain chip. They're going to jack you into the matrix. That's what's coming. Look what happened. Oh, there's the video guy. Look how plants grow oh, the video guy's fired. We were going to show you the Wi-Fi thing, but instead we got a live shot of the deep state going door to door to penetrate, to verify that, you've got your chip. Are you ready for what's coming, ladies and gentlemen? Nobody's ready. The video guy is fired. It's tough keeping up with the video guy. But look, there's been well over 100 towers that have burned down in the past few weeks. People are taking this seriously. And there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that these things are deadly, that they're causing all sorts of health issues, not just cancer. And so, is anyone surprised that people are trying to survive? How many of you are surprised that death towers are burning? No one. But the question is, will they continue to burn once the lockdown ceases? And that is up to you, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we've got a brave couple, Bonnie and Clyde in Canada, took down 7 death towers in 7 days. They're being held hostage by Canadian authorities, held on suspicion of arson, they say. These look like 2 outstanding citizens to us. And look, it's not just because they were seen on camera driving away that they were involved with anything. If even that, it's hard to say what the evidence is. We don't really care, to be quite honest. If they're going to let Hillary go, if they're going to let all their cronies go and just say, F it to justice, why do they keep coming after the people that are trying to make this world a better place? And it's not just these guys. I mean, you saw, what happened to many others during this administration. But we think of, the notables like Kent Hovind and the Bundys and the Hammonds. They just kept going after him like a bunch of psychopaths. And it's because they got an agenda. Justice has been weaponized. And if people don't defend themselves, they're going to get euthanized. They're going to end up being the Soylent Green. And little by little, we're going to see this system crash. If people just sit back and do nothing, you are totally going to lose control of your destiny. You're totally going to lose control of your lives. And shouldn't you have some say about what's going on? I mean, a lot of people just vote and assume that the system will take care of itself, that they're somehow on your side. They're not on your side. These people are out to get you, and you're voting for them. You're cheering them on. It's like this PSYOP rivalry on television, and they're like, hey, yeah, vote for us, vote for me. And, they start getting a little personal, they start getting a little seedy, and people are like, yeah. But it's just a scam. It's bread and circus. As long as you're fighting, their PSYOP, as long as you're participating in their psychological operation by participating in the rivalry, participating in the pseudo politics and the pseudo debates, as long as you're buying into their garbage, they will continue to ruin your lives, ladies and gentlemen. And it's important to understand who these people are. I mean, the television has become 24/7 product placement for the Luciferian agenda. And it's nonstop Sodom and Gomorrah. It's all about, grooming your children. It's all about, inverting what's good and evil. And it's just about spreading darkness and, liberalism. And honestly, it's just, it's so obvious. And it became painfully obvious with the Podesta emails, the WikiLeaks, and the Epstein case. Look what happened to Epstein. Look what happened to Julian Assange. Look what happened to Andrew Breitbart and Tom Clancy and Michael Hastings and, Seth Rich. I mean, Fox News actually came on the air and said the FBI has got Seth Rich's laptop. It links him to WikiLeaks. He's the DNC leaker. And what happens? I mean, they just shut everything down. But there's video of that. We did a report on that. The FBI, once again, right in the middle of it. And, it's a weaponized system, a weaponized beast system that is now actively targeting patriots and Christians. And it's all about persecution, discrimination. And they'll stop at nothing to accomplish their mission, which is to destroy creation, quite literally. And that's why everything they get into is anti-life, anti-nature, anti-common sense, and of course, anti-Christian, ladies and gentlemen. And look, the birds are trying to tell you something right now. They're trying to tell you that these death towers are no good. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. You just have to do your research. But now they don't even want you to see the scientific reports. They don't even want to have the debate because they know they're so busted. And all they can do now is just pretend that, they can't hear you. You got to make them hear you out there this July 4th. You need to organize a Boogaloo crew in your town. You need to run for something this coming election on 5G, 4G, death towers, EMF radiation, and the like. And it might be too late to officially get on a ballot, but they can still write you in. And if it's a small enough, district, then, that can happen. And it would be nice to have a couple people, regular people in office, pushing the 5G and making a big deal about it. And, when they start criticizing you, all you have to say is, this is what I ran on. This is the mandate of the people. They want these death towers down. And so, you can insult me, but you're also insulting all the people that voted for me on this issue. And we won. You can do this out there. You can be a superhero in your community. It's not just about liking and sharing and being on the internet. You got to participate in the real world. And that's why the July 4th Boogaloo 2020 should be an event we all remember. Just like this lockdown, just like this Fauci virus, just like the way Trump let this shit in. Pardon the language. But everybody out there should participate in the solution before it's too late. Before they roll out their Skynet, their Terminators, before they plug you into the Matrix, before their transhuman agenda is too far gone to come back. You've got to fight for humanity. You've got to fight for future generations, for all the children out there. You might not care, but one day it'll hit you like, we had a chance back then. Go watch the Braveheart speech. You would give it all up to come back to this moment in time while you still had a chance. And this may be the only chance we have before the second wave. This summer is going to make a difference. Fight on every issue and never give up, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.